What's up, man?
What's up? Crazy day, crazy day.
Hmm. Just a second. Thought I heard something. All right. Well, championship Saturday is over with,
Gone.
and a lot of firsts, or not really first, but maybe a lot of things happened that hadn't happened in a long time. Indiana beats Ohio State.
Yeah.
First time Indiana's won the Big Ten since I think 1965 or something like that.
Ooh.
Texas Tech, the first time they've ever won the Big 12. Duke, I think the first time they've ever won the ACC championship, something like that. I think I'm not sure exactly.
Yep, it's true. First time.
And so that's a lot of firsts, man. And then, of course, Georgia does what it needs to do and defeats Alabama in one of the worst offensive showings I've seen Alabama put up in a long time.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Alabama football. It was pathetic. Um, you want some stats? Here, I'll give you some stats. You ready? All right.
Yeah.
Now, Gunnar Stockton only threw for 156 yards. He was 20 of 26, three touchdowns. Um, so very efficient, pass when they needed to. Ty Simpson was 19 of 29 of 39.
Hmm.
So 20 misses, 20 incomplete passes for 212 yards, one touchdown, one interception, but he was ineffective most of the night. Um, Here's the part that kills me. Yards rushing. Georgia rushed for 41 times for 141 yards. That's respectable. The
Yeah.
highest running back, it was Nate Frazier with 52 yards. Um, it was Gunnar Stockton's legs that kind of killed us in third down situations, or that we had him in second and long and he would get them close and they would get the first down. Um, so Alabama rushed for only 16 times the entire game for minus 3 yards. I think that's the first time in University of Alabama history that they've had negative yards rushing. Now, I will say that Daniel Hill rushed for four times for 11 yards. The longest run from scrimmage was 5 yards. Um, Another kid named A.K. Deer, who I didn't even never even heard of before, rushed for 10 yards. Ryan Williams rushed for five. Um, so Simpson had six rushes for minus 28 yards. So that's where
Hmm.
the sacks is what got us.
Yeah. Well, how many
Um,
sacks? Five?
Give me a second, I'll tell you. Total sacks were three.
Who got the five? There's somebody got five.
It wasn't Georgia. Um, so I'm trying to see. That was Georgia. Did how many sack? We had one sack.
Hmm. I
Um,
um
we did have seven tackles for loss.
maybe that's what I'm
Um,
thinking of.
and so that's the defense played well enough. You may say, well, 28 points, Georgia
Yeah.
managed one touchdown a quarter. But thing about it is the first one came when we put them on the 10-yard
Thanks,
line with the
Hope.
block punt. And
Somehow.
then you had a interception that gave them the ball, and 14 points was generated off turnovers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes the game 14-7, which is a completely different dynamic. The problem is 14 points was all Georgia would have
You
needed anyway,
married.
because
Sorry.
Alabama's Alabama's offense was so anemically bad. Um, I really didn't think they were going to put us in.
What?
I I thought that with
Uh,
Virginia losing, Alabama getting just absolutely run out of the building, I thought that they would put both Notre Dame and Miami in the playoffs.
I knew Notre Dame wasn't going to make it.
You didn't think so?
No, I was praying the faith of a mustard seed for that 0.01% chance of Duke. All right.
Mm,
I wanted to blow it. I wanted them to blow it up so bad. But I knew Notre Dame wasn't going to get in. They lost the head to head,
mm.
and they don't have to play a conference game. Like
Right.
they just,
Championship game?
yeah, a conference championship game. And That's a big deal
Yeah.
because half of the rules for the college football playoffs revolve around conference champions.
Yep.
If you can't become a conference champion, then why should you get in?
Correct. I agree. Um,
Like half of the rules.
well, now
Sun Kiss is not sponsored this.
we see who's in now. We see that it's going to be. Hold on one second. Let me bring the back bracket up. It is, of course, uh, Indiana upsetting Ohio State was really a bright spot to a rather dim day if you're an Alabama fan. Um,
I've been on
so
the Indiana train all year.
yeah, you and Michael both have. You and Michael both have. Y'all been both. Y'all believed in the.
Uh,
Basically, y'all's philosophy was, I'm gonna pick Indiana until they prove me wrong. Um,
yeah.
and I didn't really throw much love their way. I thought maybe another year of recruiting and getting a little bit more depth would enable them to
Mm.
play with the likes of Ohio State. But apparently, we see that Indiana's there.
And listen, I
They're
thought, I believed in them and I hoped that they would win. And I kind of knew they would win, but I figured it would be a real test for them to go up against Ohio State.
yeah,
That's the truest championship caliber team that they have faced all year.
yeah.
And, you know, granted, they stuck in there, they had a lot of good plays and they won, but they won because of Ohio State missing
Mm.
that kick.
So do you think Ohio State lost the game or Indiana won the game?
No, I for sure think Indiana won the game. They had a good offense. They had a good defense that got stops. I mean, it was 13-10. And it was definitely a defensive game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they schemed well against Ohio State's powerhouse passing. I mean, they pass well. And I don't have the stats in front of me, but their defense bent a little bit, but never broke. And I
Right.
think I didn't get to watch all of the game because a bunch of stupid husband stuff, but they won. They won. And they put Ohio State in a position to have to do something, and Ohio State didn't come through.
No, I think that you see that Julian Sayin is or Justin Sayin is a freshman. I think that came out during the game. I always said that nobody looked beatable. I mean, I'm sorry, nobody was dominant and everybody looked beatable. And that has proved an absolute um, true. I would say the most dominant two teams that we've seen so far coming out of the championship games was Georgia and Texas Tech. Now, I would say more
Mm,
Georgia than Texas Tech because BYU is
yeah,
just not that good. They play a weak schedule. It wasn't a real test for Texas Tech. Everybody keeps talking about how great their defense is, and that's wonderful. Play somebody that's good,
yeah.
and I'm talking anybody in the top 10. I'm not so sure, other than Alabama, I'm not so sure Texas Tech could beat them. Um, maybe Oklahoma because Oklahoma's offense is just anemic as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
would say
and what
Oklahoma
and you're going to say I can't believe
or Miami.
that I can't believe they're going to do a rematch right off the bat with Oklahoma with the different things they could have done. They could have given Alabama James Madison, or they could have given Oklahoma Tulane. They could have done that and said, let's go ahead and right out of the gate, let's have a rematch that took place a month ago. And
Yeah, this will be the
I
third time they've played Oklahoma.
no, just second time. This is the second time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
we
Okay.
here's
Played twice.
but there is a possibility. Get this. Let's say Alabama wins and then goes on to play Indiana and then beats Indiana. The Final Four and Georgia goes on and wins. Alabama and Georgia will play each other for the third time in one season. Um,
Maybe that's what I was thinking about.
yeah, that's crazy. But there's no way around
Let's.
it. There's no way around it.
I think that if Alabama gets to Indiana, Indiana will hang 35 on them.
No, our defense is too good for that. Um, our
Clearly.
de our defense. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to think about it. If Alabama can at least, uh, I don't think Indiana's offense is as good as Georgia's, especially running the ball. I think as far as physicality, Indiana better be glad they drew either Oklahoma or Alabama, because Oklahoma's defense I think is better than ours. To be honest with you, I think personally, I think Indiana will lose to either Oklahoma or Alabama. I don't think they'll beat either one of those. And if Alabama can get their offense going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell them what to do because that offense has gotten worse since I don't know. I don't think the offense has ever really looked good.
And I think they kind of checked out once they lost. Um, who was it they played before Georgia?
I don't know. It was like the fourth or fifth game before we played Georgia, Auburn,
No, what was the last loss they had? The last big like
Oklahoma,
what was the second loss they had?
Oklahoma. We
Oh,
lost the
no, I'm
first
not thinking
game of
about
the
the right
season.
thing then.
Yeah, we haven't been right all season. There isn't a game that there was a turning point where all of a sudden the offense didn't um, was looking good up until this point, and then all of a sudden it wasn't good anymore. What teams discovered was that we can't run the ball, so they just leave two safeties high and make us throw short.
Yeah.
Georgia schemed perfectly for our offense. Ryan Grubb needs to go. Sorry, he's terrible. He can't. He doesn't scheme well. He has flat. I'm not saying he's terrible as far as he never does anything right. He has flashes of brilliance. That drive against South Carolina and the 2 point conversion call was probably the best drive we've had all year.
Hmm.
And against a mediocre team, and he goes in and he just kept. We didn't change anything. This offense is not changed. It's not put anything new. Every now and then they'll throw one of these stupid trick plays in that almost never work. The one
Never.
is when Bernard threw that lateral to I don't even know who he threw it to. I don't even know if that was drawn up or they were just desperate and tried to make a play. It worked for a few yards, but and you think about this, Bernard dropped a touchdown pass. It would have been a good catch. It was tipped, and Williams dropped a touchdown pass that hit him right in the hands, went right through
Hmm.
his hands, and hits him in the. I don't know if he keeps trying to trap the ball with his chest all the time. Um, Ty Simpson put it right there, um, and I mean he can't throw it and catch it, so
Yeah.
it was just poor, and that's 14 points. That puts us in the ball game. Um, so Grubb is not going to change anything. Personally, I would have come out in the third quarter, give Simpson a chance to drive down the field, see what he could do. Obviously, he couldn't do anything. Nothing was in. Put that backup quarterback in.
Yeah.
He's a lot more athletic. Let him use his legs. Have a
Yeah.
scheme where you're going to run him a lot. Georgia had not planned for that, um, and so had barely seen that kid all year because we're always just barely surviving every game. So you don't have time. You can't play the backups.
Mm.
Um, so I mean, what did you have to lose? You were down 21 to nothing.
That's what I was going to say. Put them in, let them get some big game experience so they get that itch and want to get back to it. Don't leave them on the bench
I
and
mean,
underutilize them. Who knows? It could have been. Remember when Jalen came in and bailed out Tua, and then Tua came in and bailed out Jalen. It's like you never know what's sitting on the bench. You have an idea, but give them that big game time, big atmosphere itch, and they'll come back next year, wanting to get it back.
and I just don't. You know, what you have, and I think I can't remember who was it said it. What you had with Alabama in this particular game is you had every play somebody on offense was making a mistake. And so either it
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
center this one time, or it was the tackle this other time, or the receiver dropped, or Simpson stood in the pocket too long, or just break down and cover it, or blocking schemes, or whatever the case is. And so you had a problem. They never could get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
And poor play calling, that 4th and 2, and Simpson, they takes that snap and he turns, looks on a very low percentage pass to Bernard going out on like a flare pass, I guess is what it was. I'm not sure what you call it, but he was heading to the
Mhm.
sideline. You have to throw that ball over defender, over Bernard's shoulder, put it in his hands before he gets out of bounds. That's a hard throw to make. And nobody's in the middle of the field. It's like we're not throwing to the middle of the field. And if you notice, every time we did, for nobody was open downfield for more. I don't know if they were open. I didn't go back and look at the film, but we're throwing passes 5, 6 yards maybe, and they're hit right away. There's
Yeah.
always a Georgia defender standing there, and it's
Yeah.
like, and Grubb cannot adjust to what to that. And so okay, this is what they're doing, and we can't run.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How can he adjust to that if they can't run? So Georgia dumps 70% of their defensive effort into the pass.
Yeah,
They're taking away what you can do because they don't have to worry about what you can't do.
right. Somebody made the point of that. I think it was it might have been Herb Street or it was Chris Fowler who made the point is like they're leaving those safeties high and daring Alabama to try to run the ball.
Yeah.
And because Georgia's defense and their linebackers weren't letting that happen. We could
And
not get to the second level.
I'd rather give up a 20-yard run once every 20 plays than eight 20 to 30, 40-yard passes and
That could
close
be
the
a
field
touchdown.
down.
Yeah.
Like like you said, it was a perfect scheme. I'm not a huge Alabama fan like you are, by far not a Georgia fan, but Georgia, they came to win.
Well, you're not going to beat Kirby Smart twice in a year. Even Nick Saban couldn't do that because we beat him that one year in the SEC championship, and then we lost to them in the national championship. Kirby adapts very well. He goes
Yeah.
in, he studies that film. He says, "This is what they did to us. This is what we can do to adjust it." And now I will say this: Alabama's defense came out cracking skulls. I mean, they were hitting hard, and that basically kept going almost all game. You did not want to be catching that ball out in the flat
Yeah.
because those defensive backs and safeties were just flying and smashing into people. And so I like to see, and that was probably one of the hardest hitting games we've played all year. Um, but so they didn't, like I said, they didn't have a single rusher over 100 that went over 100 yards. All they got was 141, and that was on committee. 39 of that was Gunnar Stockton
Yeah.
himself. So Stockton has gotten better as the years gone on.
Hmm.
He's throwing a lot better.
You think so?
I think so.
I haven't followed him a ton. I haven't
I think
looked
so.
at
I
him a
think
lot.
he's got enough athleticism to where he's going to cause problems for defenses because he can throw and he will take off. And he's big. He's bigger than people think. So he's hard to bring. I don't think he's exceptionally fast, but he will lean into you. He's not just going to slide. Um,
Archie
and
Manning.
and he will, if you got to tackle and wrap him up because if you just grab him, he's going to dive and get 2 or 3 more yards. And that's what
Yeah.
kept several of their drives alive. We couldn't get them off the field. Um, I mean, my gosh, I don't know how many plays they run. I think it was probably 3 times as many as we did. They flipped the script. It was a completely different ball. It was they did to us what we did to them in the first game.
Hmm. All
Um,
right. Let's talk about some. What do you think about the Miami squeaking in? And what do you think? Do you think they're going to do against Texas A&M?
I think I'm going to take Texas A&M in that game.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that they are going to be the best team outside of maybe Notre Dame that they've seen all year. Um, because Texas A&M is pretty decent on both sides of the ball.
Hmm.
They don't have a bad defense. Their offense is okay. Um, I haven't watched a lot of Miami play. I watched Miami, Florida, and And I remember in that game, it's like when they came out in that first quarter, it's like, my gosh, they're unstoppable. They're just throwing everybody around. And then
Hmm.
something shifted in them. And then Florida started getting some momentum back and, I guess started pushing back sort of and showed that, Miami could be vulnerable. And I'll be honest with you, if Carson Beck doesn't have one of his better games, Miami's going to lose and could lose by double digits.
Yeah,
Um,
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm done.
I think this might be the upset game of the first round.
You going to go
Like,
with
yeah, I
Miami?
agree with you with Texas A&M. I agree they are much better than average on both sides of the ball. I think that Miami definitely made some slip ups, maybe looked past an opponent and got sclounced on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, second to last game or whatever. And I think that now that they have a chance, they're going to be laser focused. I mean, they got what 2 weeks? When's the 19th, 20th, 21st?
19th and the 20th are the first games.
Yeah. So if they're playing on the 20th, they got, almost 2 weeks to get prepped,
Yeah, about
plenty of
that.
game film. I think they're going to be laser focused. Beck's going to come out with something to prove. And I think, they have the talent. And now I think they're going to have the sheer willpower to make it close and possibly upset. That's just my belief. But, you
Well,
told me I was wrong about Indiana and Duke.
um, no, I mean the thing is, I'm not saying it's a guarantee that Texas A&M is going to win. Miami definitely does have the ability to beat them. They're a good ball team. Um, it's just which Miami are you going to get?
Yeah.
That's the
That's
thing.
something. Yeah.
If you get, you know, when they're hot, I mean, you get the Notre Dame Miami, you're looking at a really good game and maybe even a win. You
Yeah.
get a Louisville Miami, you're looking at an embarrassment.
Yeah. I was going to say
Um,
they can't sustain that. They can't put 3 games in a row like that together.
mm-mm.
Three Notre Dames.
So yeah, it'd be interesting. Of course, I think Oregon, James Madison. I've been rooting for Jimmy Madison all
You
season.
have been. You've been on the Jimmy Maddie team, the Jimmy
Uh,
Maddie train.
yep. And I said they were going to make the playoffs, so they could make it. And I said, they could make it, but I didn't really think they were going to make it. But I think
You were
Oregon
praying
is
for that 0.01%, like I
Oregon.
was praying for that 0.01% with Duke. Yeah.
Jim Madison is about to get TCU'd. They're going to get TCU'd.
Listen, bless those boys' hearts, okay? Bless those boys' hearts. They put up a good season.
They
The
did.
fact that they are the reason some teams are not in the playoffs, they need to have
Talking
a trophy or a plaque for that.
talking to
That
you, Notre
says,
Dame.
yeah, I was
Talking
gonna
to
say
you,
that
Notre
says,
Dame.
hey, ruined your season, Notre Dame. Every year that's their goal. Whose season can they ruin? It's like
Did you see where I just saw this, right? I was going to the bracket and apparently Notre Dame is refusing to even play in a bowl.
why would they?
They're
That's
not going to
that's who Notre Dame is. I hate Notre Dame. If Notre Dame and Ohio State was playing, I would pick Ohio State.
and you hate Ohio State.
And I wouldn't wipe my ass with Ohio State toilet paper. Okay? Get in a conference and become competitive. Stop sitting on the sideline and cherry picking and do something. Then stop whining when you don't get in the playoffs because you don't play anybody and you don't win a conference championship.
Yep. It's an argument that people have made since it was a 14 playoff because the year they got in, the BCS put them in when Alabama
Right.
played them in 2012, or technically it was 2013, and Alabama just wiped the floor with them
Yep.
because and everybody knew that was what was going to happen because Notre Dame had not played anybody. They just happened to go undefeated, and Alabama had one loss that year, it was to Texas A&M, and but had that great game against Georgia in the SEC championship. But I mean, and everybody said that they've needed to join a conference for 20 years. They refuse to do it. You've got nobody to blame but yourself. When
Yeah.
you're in a and what they should,
True.
I personally think if Notre Dame had been in the Big 12, they'd have been in the championship game. If they would have been the ACC, they would have been in the championship. They would have had one loss to
100%.
Miami. They would have been in the championship game. Now the Big Ten, nah, you'd have two losses. SEC, three losses
Yeah,
probably.
I would say 3 or 4 losses because you're going to get one from the
They already
SEC
lost
that's
Texas.
just going to upset you.
Well, they lost to Texas A&M. Then they went and embarrassed Arkansas. But who hasn't embarrassed Arkansas
Yeah.
this year?
I
Um,
think what gets under my craw about Notre Dame is this: what I said. They cherry pick and they complain, and it's like join the damn Conference USA, join Tulane and Jimmy Maddie Conference, something.
They'd have got in.
You'd have been in the playoffs, but no. And then I pray that the year that Notre Dame goes undefeated, they still don't get in the playoffs because they don't play a conference championship. You sorry sacks of crap. And then if they come out with this code national championship, I'm gonna go punch somebody in the face.
You can't have
Okay.
that with the playoffs. You can't do that
Yeah, I'm saying
anymore.
if they go 12-0, don't get in the playoffs, and
Oh,
then whoever gets in the playoffs and wins, well, we're undefeated, code national championship.
because they go.
Come
You
play,
they
come
take a
play
they take a
two
page
thirds
out
of
of
your schedule on
UCF's
the
playbook.
SEC teams.
So
Like
they're the new UCF.
come come get within 3 points of beating Georgia or Oklahoma or Indiana or Alabama. Play a bunch of those games close, even though they're not in your conference. Schedule them and play them, but they won't do that. They're not going to schedule 6 SEC teams in a season.
I don't think we've scheduled Notre Dame since the '80s, the late '80s.
There's no
Um,
point. All they're going to do is could potentially give you a loss. Even if you play them close and they beat you, it's a loss by a team without a damn conference that
yeah.
doesn't play for a championship.
So, and that's what kept them out. It's definitely what kept them out because they, Bama had to go play a team they've already beat in their own house. So there was nothing for Alabama to win by playing in that game. And
Yeah,
if the
I hope.
committee takes Alabama out, what they're telling everybody is don't go to the conference championship if you're already in the top 12
Yeah,
because you're going to get screwed.
and what I hope and pray for 0.000 to the infinite 1% is that they make a rule where there's no cap on overtimes, and Ohio State and Notre Dame play each other in a perpetual overtimes for the rest of their damn lives, and they never play anybody else while the next season's going on. Please, Lord, let that happen. I pray from every part of my body for that to happen. Perpetual overtime for Notre Dame and Ohio State. Please, guys, you got to finish this game. The next season starts next week. Sorry, we got to finish. It's like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I know you hate them. Um,
All
so
right, what's next?
who else? Well,
Indiana.
you got Indiana's got to buy. Georgia's got to buy. Ohio
You know
State's
what?
got
A
to
little
buy.
Easter egg that I've thought about for years that I always think about, but I never really. It's so small. I love how all of the quarterfinal games and semifinal games are all the big time bowl games. I love
Hmm.
that they did that. They made all those bowl games for the
Right.
playoff rounds and still letting people that didn't get in, you know, take a big time bowl. I like that they kept it all together. They didn't say y'all can go have the Orange Bowl and the Goodyear Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl while we're in the playoffs.
Hmm.
I like that they kept the big bowl games in the playoffs. See, Jimmy Maddie, Alabama, Oklahoma, Tulane, Ole Miss. Come on,
Yep.
Tulane, put up a fight.
Ole Miss has already drubbed them
Georgia,
once this year.
huh?
Ole Miss has already drubbed them once this year. There's no
They played
reason to
Tulane
think.
already?
I think so. I think that was
No.
Tulane's only loss of the season.
Is it really?
So, and Ole Miss,
Let me
there's
look. Let
no
me look.
reason why they're not going to do the same thing. You don't even need Lane Kiffin. Um, Not for that game.
Oh, yeah, they did slouch them.
My
Sixth game of
ESPN
the
page
season.
isn't working at all, so I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, it's they slouched them 45-10.
Yeah, and so you're going to see the same thing
Yeah,
happen. Yeah, I mean the first two, the best game of the opening round is Alabama Oklahoma.
yeah. Well, that's going to
Everybody,
be what
go
I
ahead.
was preaching on. I think last video was the squash games now.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
go
they're
ahead.
gonna just nobody's gonna tune in to see Ole Miss and Tulane or Oregon and Jimmy Madison. And if they do, when it's 28-0 halfway through the first quarter, they're going to change the channel.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's the reason why you're really going to need to set up like I mentioned this before, how basketball has the NCAA tournament, then they have that little poor man's tournament. What's it called again?
The NIT.
NIT. I think you really need that for these smaller conferences. It's not fair to them. Yeah, you get to play on the big stage. You have no chance of
Yeah.
winning, not even a
Well,
single game.
so this will add extra game, but what about playing like the basketball tournament next week should be Duke versus Jimmy Maddie. Winner gets into the playoffs,
Wild card.
you know?
Yep.
Or who's the other one? Who's the other conference champ? Who's like one of the Western conferences? Somebody like
Well, Tulane won theirs. Kennesaw State won theirs. Boise State won theirs.
yeah, but I'm talking about like an ACC team type situation where they won but they didn't get in. It was somewhere out west. I can't
Mm.
remember, but a play-in game. You know,
Well, see, that's where you would have Notre Dame play um,
no, you
Duke.
have to be a conference champion to get into
Okay.
the play-in game.
I
Bottom
don't want
line,
to trigger you. I don't want to trigger. Now I
conference
got to edit that.
champion.
I got to edit that, man.
Edit that. I'm sorry. Beep.
Um,
Put that in there. You have to play. I don't care if it's toilet dump USA conference. You have to be a conference champion to get into the play-in game.
well, yes, to the playing game. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So it's going to be interesting. Looking at it, I say Oklahoma beats Alabama.
Hang on, right
And
now. Hang on.
well, hold on. I got them picked right here. And it's pretty easy. I've already picked two pretty much. I believe you and Michael would both pick.
You don't know me. You don't know me, Hope.
Okay, then you tell me. Uh, Jimmy Madison in Oregon. You picked Oregon.
Jimmy
Al-
Madison, all the way.
Alabama, Oklahoma. You pick Oklahoma. Miami, Texas A&M. You picked Miami actually in that game.
Yeah, I'm picking Miami for that one.
Okay.
I just think they're going to be so laser focused, but then I feel
Mhm.
like Texas A&M is going to smack them in the face the first quarter, and they're going to go blind again.
They
Anyway,
could.
Oregon, Oklahoma.
Yeah. So you are gonna pick Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma.
I'm picking Oklahoma. You know why?
Obviously,
That
Ole
guarantees
Miss.
Alabama will win the game.
Oh, yeah,
Guarantee it.
that's your luck.
You and
Yeah.
Michael, by
Who's
the
the fifth
way,
one?
you and Michael are still tied at 162.
Can't be. It
Yeah.
can't be tied.
Yeah.
If you go off of favorites, because I had Indiana, Duke, and the no name upset.
You wait a minute. Here's the thing. We all three picked Texas Tech.
Yeah, garbage.
You okay, you picked Indiana. Me and Michael picked Ohio
Yep.
State, so that was one for you. We all picked Virginia. We lost that.
I picked
Um,
Duke.
you picked Duke?
100%.
I
I've
thought
been
you
praying
picked
for Duke the whole time. That's why I called you. I for sure picked Duke. I have it written down.
you got it.
Duke.
You're right. I remember it now. Um, so
That triggered me again.
that means you are up by one
Yeah.
because Michael he went with the favorites, so he had to pick Virginia and he picked Georgia. So he wouldn't have picked Georgia, he would have picked Alabama, but
Yeah.
he had to go with the favorites because he wasn't there. So it's 163 you, 162 Michael. I am at 154.
I was going to say 159.
We're
I
gonna
was
have to
going to
start doing. Hey, we got to do basketball picks so I can catch up.
say
Man, that's terrible.
there's
Man, the
no hope for you.
last few, and you know what I'm blaming? TCU screwed me all season long.
That started your spiral
That
downward.
started my spiral. I
You're
couldn't
not
believe
even
when I
going to
looked at
break
it. I'm
one. You can't
12
even.
points.
Oh, you can't
I'm
even break
12 points behind
160.
Michael. No. And the thing about it is to see how many games are going to be in the playoff. There's 12 teams.
Oh,
Uh,
12, 6. No, there's four. There's four. There's four games.
well,
Four
there's
row.
four games this week, and then
Yeah.
there's
So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 games because the
all right.
bye week take away one.
So even if I won all 11 and y'all got none of them, I could tie Michael. I could tie Michael and would still be behind you. Um, I think. Wait, wait,
154.
wait. No, I wouldn't. I could win. That would put me at
How?
160. I would put me at 165 if I got 11 picks right and y'all got none.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I have to pick Jim. I have to pick Jimmy Madison.
You might as well go big or go home, baby.
Well, I tell you what, we'll do this. We'll pick spreads now.
Oh,
So will Oregon meet? I don't even know
don't
what the
count if you
spread
don't
is yet.
cover.
Yeah, don't count. So if I pick Jimmy Madison, that means Oregon has to cover the spread or I win.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
can
like
tell
a
you,
rule for next
let me
year.
tell you what the over and under for the Alabama Oklahoma game is going to be 26 because neither one of those teams can score 20 points. It's going to be
Yeah.
like 13-10. So it'd probably be something ridiculous like 3-2.
Yeah. They get a safety. You remember that time in high school when we got a safety against us, two
You
to nothing,
It
and
was
that's what the
Point St.
end of
Lucie.
the game was, 2 to nothing.
Yep, because Chase missed that 35-yard field goal.
I wasn't going to go that far, but yes.
Like he watches the show. Um, but yeah, that safety 2-0. What a
Yeah.
what a what a horrible.
The game was played on like 45 to 45 yard line
Basically
the whole
they
game.
had what happened was they had that one running back and he had one break and he got down to like inside the 5 and we stopped him. 4 downs, we stopped him, goal line stand. And then we got the ball and I think Snoop fumbled the ball.
Yep.
We should have just dove 4 times and punted our way out of there. Um, but probably would have been, but he hadn't fumbled like that all year.
No.
So,
Two
but
to
that was just,
nothing.
yeah, both teams were good defenses, great defenses. So, all right, man. Well, that's all I got.
Hey man. And ammonium.
You got your wish, boy. You got everything that needed to happen for one of either Miami or Notre Dame to be gone happened.
Happened. And I would
Well,
pick
actually,
Miami any
the thing
day.
about the thing about it is it happened, but I said if Alabama got blowed out by Georgia, they wouldn't make it to the playoffs. That's where I was wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
I said when I was watching the game, part when Georgia scored 21, when they got the 21 points, I was like, I wasn't even mad anymore. I didn't get mad anymore. It's like something inside me broke. All the
Yeah.
hope of possible comeback went
You just
away.
went dry.
When Georgia scored the 14 points, I said it's over. I said we are not a team that can dig out of a hole.
Yeah.
We can't do it. So the biggest deficit we could get in is really 10 points. Our offense doesn't have the firepower to make a comeback like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, man. See ya.
I'm off.